8 November 1990. President George H.W. Bush announces that he intends to add more than 200,000 U.S. troops to those already deployed during Operation Desert Shield in the Persian Gulf area. The number of Marines in the area will double with the addition of 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force units from the Corps' East Coast bases and the 5th Marine Expeditionary Brigade from California. Within the next 2 months, strength in the objective area will increase to nearly 90,000 Marines. To ensure that the U.S. received economic backing, U.S. Secretary of State James Baker went on an 11-day journey to 9 countries in September 1990, which the press dubbed the Tin Cup Trip. The first stop was Saudi Arabia, which a month before had already granted permission to the U.S. to use its facilities. However, Baker believed that Saudi Arabia should assume some of the costs of the military efforts to defend it. When Baker asked King Fahd for $15 billion, over $32 trillion in today's economy, the king readily agreed with the promise that Baker asked Kuwait for the same amount. After stops in Helsinki and Moscow to smooth out Iraqi demands for a Middle Eastern peace conference with the Soviet Union, Baker traveled to Syria to discuss its role in the crisis with its President Hafez Assad. Assad had a deep personal hostility towards Saddam, which was defined by the fact that Saddam had been trying to kill him for years. Harboring this resentment and impressed with Baker's diplomatic initiative to visit Damascus, relations had been severed since the 1983 bombing of the U.S. Marine barracks in Beirut. Assad agreed to pledge up to 100,000 Syrian troops to the coalition effort. This was a vital step in ensuring Arab states were represented in the coalition. In exchange, Washington gave Syrian dictator President Hafez al-Assad the green light to wipe out forces opposing Syria's role in Lebanon and arranged for weapons valued at $1 billion to be provided to Syria, mostly through Gulf states. In exchange for Iran's support for U.S.-led intervention, the U.S. government promised the Iranian government to end U.S. opposition to World Bank loans to Iran. On the day before the ground invasion began, the World Bank gave Iran the first loan of $250 million. A coalition of forces opposing Iraq's aggression was formed, consisting of forces from 42 countries, and it was the largest coalition since World War II. U.S. Army General Norman Schwarzkopf Jr. was designated to be the commander of the coalition forces in the Persian Gulf area. The Soviet Union condemned Baghdad's aggression against Kuwait, but did not support the U.S. and Allied intervention in Iraq and tried to avert it. Many of the coalition countries were reluctant to commit military forces. Some felt that the war was an internal Arab affair or did not want to increase the influence in the Middle East. In the end, however, many governments were persuaded by Iraq's belligerence towards other Arab states, offers of economic aid or debt forgiveness, and threats to withhold aid. Until next time, stay salty devils, Semper Fi, and carry on.